is a stage 4 cancer survivor. He is an empowerment speaker, empowering people to overcome obstacles and walk in their unique purpose. And anybody who has survived stage 4 cancer knows what they're talking about. He is a college professor, radio and TV correspondent, and visionary of the Access Identity Conference. Please put your hands together for our final storyteller of the evening, Dr. Eddie Connor.
Can we give it up for our hostess with the mostest, the one and only, I'm going to call her Dr. Satori Shakur. Come on, give it up for her. And of course, I want to shout out my dear brother from another mother, the one and only Dr. Yusef Bunchy Shakur. Come on, give it up for him. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Amazing visionary, amazing leader. He's really ardent, and he's an ardent advocate for really restoring the neighbor back to the hood. And so I appreciate him for this opportunity. I want you to close your eyes and imagine someone who knew that you were fighting for your life walked up to you and said these words, "I thought you died." Shocking, right? Disturbing and totally insensitive. So much so that you popped open your eyes. Well, those are the exact same words that a guy said to me some years ago. And I was furious. Listen, y'all, I was so angry. I was getting ready to have a Will Smith, Chris Rock moment. And I wasn't gonna be Chris. Felt my fist balled up, and we were in Detroit, and I expected him to at least say, "What up, though?" What up, though? I didn't even get that. His words produced the same pain in my chest when I was struggling to breathe as a teenager, ultimately being diagnosed with NHL. I gotta keep it real with y'all. I gotta keep it 100. For me, I thought NHL stood for National Hockey League. I said, I'm getting ready to be the youngest owner of a National Hockey League team. Go Red Wings. But NHL stood for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Yeah, that's right. Stage 4 cancer. Yes, cancer made me cry, but it didn't make me quit. Listen, if you were watching the movie The Color Purple on the screen here, I'd tell you just like Sophia, all my life, I had to fight. Do I got any fighters in here? You fought through the storm, you fought through the rain, you fought through the trials and the pain. You don't look like what you've been through, because your test is testimony, your misery is ministry, your mess is a message, your stumbling block is a stepping stone. What God will do is he'll use your setback as a setup for your greatest comeback. He'll use your tragedy as strategy. He'll turn your grief into grace. Look around you. You're not the only one. Open your eyes to what our young people are struggling to fight through on a daily basis. Oftentimes we don't realize, in many cases, what they're dealing with and what they're going through and what they're growing through. Oftentimes we demonize and criticize our young people for their sagging pants, but they're coming from sagging homes, sagging communities, sagging justice system, sagging churches, sagging schools. But here it is, if we pull up the home, if we pull up the community, if we pull up the church, if we pull up the justice system, if we pull up their self-perception, I'm a living witness, they will pull up their pants. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but here's the caveat. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to fill its warmth. I don't want you to close your eyes to the pandemic of illiteracy affecting black boys in America. Behind every fact is a face, behind every statistic is a story. And only 10% of black boys in these yet-to-be United States of America in the 8th grade are proficient in reading. 50 million Americans cannot read past the 4th grade level, with the group adversely affected the most being African American males. illiteracy and incarceration interconnected. As Dr. Jawanza Kanjufu conveys in his books, especially the one called The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, that prisons are built based on 2nd and 3rd grade reading scores. Sadly, 47% of Metro Detroiters are reportedly functionally illiterate. Now, my favorite two classes in school were gym and lunch. Used to love to chase the girls at gym, sit down and eat with them at lunch. And my grades were indicative of that. Ultimately became a high school teacher. Now make that make sense. But I remember in my classroom, whenever it was time to drop everything and read, almost every boy's head dropped on the desk as their book became the most comfortable pillow. And so I thought to myself, why is it that when boys open books, they close their eyes? And I soon discovered that many teachers and schools do not provide culturally relevant reading material to where our children see themselves reflected in the books that they read. Walter Dean Myers, a writer of over 100 books, said that books transmit values. If I'm not in the book, what does that say about my value? And so it's easy for me to close my eyes if the books that I read do not speak to my value, my community, and my identity. It's easy for me to close my eyes if the book doesn't speak to who I am, and where I want to be, my plan, my promise, and my purpose. That's the reason why I developed the mentoring and literacy program, Boys to Books. Yeah. I believe that readers are leaders. We have a plethora of mentoring programs, but mentoring without literacy enrichment is more of a liability than an asset. Learners are leaders. Readers are leaders. We have to get to that place to where we imbibe power into the lives of our young boys, the lives of our young men, to let them know that they have value, to let them know that they are seen, that they are heard, that they are appreciated. We have to all come together. We have to all extend our hands to really remediate the issue of illiteracy in our communities, simply because we have to get to that place to where we understand that it is, if it's to be, it's up to you and me. We have to get to that place simply because our young people are not thugs, they're scholars. We have to extend that hand to help and let them know that you don't have to go to prison, you can go to Princeton. You have to do 4 years in a correctional facility, you can do 4 years at college or a university. And even if you don't go to college, you can still pick up a trade. Because a plumber is just as valuable as a professor. An electrician is just as important as an educator and an engineer. We have to let our young people know that we are our brother's keeper, we are our sister's protector. And this is our time to come together more than ever before and really impress upon them that justice is what love looks like out loud. We have to get to that particular place of us understanding the greatness of who it is that we are and that we can empower our young men, because it is the power of mentoring that provided an opportunity for me to grow. The power of mentoring provided an opportunity for me to speak to the boys that I speak to, but also to speak to the boy in me who was searching for value and validation, being raised by a single mother without a father. And the question that many of our young people are asking is, how do I play a role if I wasn't given a script? How do I become a man if I didn't see one, much less interact with one? Yes, I battled stage 4 cancer. But it is by the grace of God that I was able to find the can in cancer. And not only write 16 books, but show our young brothers their value in books. And let them know that no dream is unreachable, no vision is unachievable, no goal is unattainable. Because when we show you love and show you direction, then you can overcome any particular obstacle that you can fight and that you can face in your life. They say boys will be boys. Yes, until someone teaches them to be more. Service is the rent that we pay for the space we occupy. The words that we say to our young people, the words that our children read, can be a catalyst to change their world. And so as I stand before you tonight, I can also stand in front of that same guy who said those words to me. I thought you died. and I can look at him and tell him, you thought wrong. Because as you can clearly see, I didn't die, I multiplied. Whatever you do, multiply your gifts, multiply your talent, multiply your community, multiply your vision, multiply justice and bring unity. Simply because you don't just go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. And teamwork makes the dream work, simply because we're better together. God bless you.